As the leader of the Booner Path, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the f*** up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juices pumping, boys.
Good morning. Welcome to the Jeff Iafrate Show Monday morning, 9 a.m. Lions lose to the Kansas City Chiefs. All right. In a pretty embarrassing fashion, to be honest. We'll talk about it today, along with other things. Brian Branch potentially being suspended. Different storylines from that game. I got Dan Campbell after the game, some quotables, videos. I'll share my thoughts on that. Hope everyone's having a good morning. I see Shift God. People keep saying, he says in the chat, people keep saying Branch may not get suspended. Brother, the NFL very strict on certain things. Yeah, well, here's the other reality of that. There is such thing as reputations, and not that Brian has a terrible reputation, but he may be judged a little differently considering what has happened to him in the past. I mean, $130,000 in fines. You know, he's had the moment in Green Bay last year. I think that might play a factor into the decision. You know, rather than, I don't know, some player that never gets in trouble or never does anything just snapping all of a sudden. Like Brian's actually had a little bit of a history, so I believe they will judge him a little differently. So people were trying to argue the closed hand versus the open hand. I don't know how much that plays a part. I don't know if your hand's open, you don't get suspended or it's less of a punishment. I don't know. I would like to think that's not the case, but I could be completely wrong on that again. But that's what some people were commenting. I did see, so we'll see. But yeah, Brian Branch punching JuJu Smith-Schuster after the game. The Lions just got outplayed yesterday on pretty much every side of the ball. I mean, they were just – it was actually the opposite of what they've done to win over the last 5 weeks, 6 weeks. Every single week, the Lions come into this week, at least 4 of them when they've won, and played complimentary football. Yesterday, they did not. They played actually the complete opposite of that. They played anti-complimentary football or uncomplimentary football. They just did. Offense didn't help the defense. Defense didn't help the offense. And special teams just did absolutely nothing. So, obviously, except for Jake Bates and Jack Fox. But other than that, like special teams in general just weren't good. They didn't get anything from returns. There was not really a lot of juice coming from anywhere. So here's the reality, right? You're 4-2. You have a massive game next Monday night against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That just feels much more important now. They are 5-1. They are a really good team. And the reality of it, guys, you can't afford to lose that game. And I don't say that for any record purposes. I don't care that they could be 4-3. That's not why I say it. It's based on narrative. If you lose that game against Tampa Bay, you will have a loss to the Bucs, the Chiefs, and the Packers. And you would have beaten the only good win you have is against the Ravens, who, people can shit on the Ravens right now. At the time, they had Derrick Henry and Lamar. They're still not they still, were looked at as a team that had a bad defense. I get that. It's not as big of a game as the Packers game or the Bucs game or even this Chiefs game, but it is still a good win. But if we're talking about contenders, you're 0-3 versus what people would say are contenders if you lose to the Bucs next week. So that game just became much, 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 much more important for that reason. You don't want to, like Booner said before the season, you can't lose to every contender you face. That's a terrible message to send to your fan base. I mean, what are we doing here? Then you're going to be wondering, are we legit? Are we contenders? What the hell are we doing? And then people can start bringing out the fraudulent term. Right now, I'm not going to do that. I think last night what it was a Chiefs team that was very desperate. And let's be real here. And this is something I thought about yesterday after the game. I mean, we were up till 2 a.m. because I had to get some stuff done for YouTube. But while I was doing that, I was thinking, if you look at every quarterback in the NFL, I personally believe that Chiefs team, if you took every team, screw quarterback, every team in the NFL playing at their best, take a look at every single NFL team playing at their best, there ain't no one beating the Chiefs at their best. I mean, there's just not. If they play not even up to their standard, but play excellent, it's hard to beat the Chiefs. I mean, it's almost impossible. They are that good. There's no quarterback that you would rather have playing at their best than Mahomes. There's no head coach you would rather have in the league with their best game plan than Andy Reid. And there's no, I'll even add defensive coordinator you would rather have with their best game plan than Steve Spagnuolo. So we're talking about like guys at their best. You don't want to play them. And that's what happened. They whooped the Lions. It doesn't change what I think about this Lions team in terms of big picture or, you know, trying to say that they're fraudulent or this is not really. It doesn't. I think if this loss was to the Seahawks, it would be a lot differently, you know, or if this loss was to the Chicago Bears, it would be a lot differently. Vikings, a lot differently, you know. I'm trying to think of other teams I could bring up. The Cardinals, a lot differently. But it's the Kansas City Chiefs, and I don't give a shit what their record is. They are an organization that has done nothing but win games over the last handful of years. Patrick Mahomes is the only quarterback that they are comparing to Brady in terms of resume. Let's not act like this Chiefs team. I know people got a little ahead of themselves commenting and saying this Chiefs team was awful. They weren't a threat. The Lions should have no problem. They are bad. They aren't the same old Chiefs. Guys, it's Mahomes and Andy Reid. And unless Mahomes is, you know, washed and 45 years old, or even Brady was 40, still playing well. But you get my point. He's still, 30 years old? I mean, what are we talking about? It's still Patrick Mahomes. I think he's the second greatest quarterback of all time. Okay? It's still Mahomes. So, him at his best, that's terrifying. He had an excellent game. I mean, he did. He was running all over the place. He had 257 yards passing, 3 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. He almost had 300 combined yards passing, rushing. He was 22 of 30. He was good. He was really good. Travis Kelce had his best game of the year, 6 catches, 78 yards. And I'll tell you this. Did the Lions defense help by these guys having such great games? No, they didn't. You know, they did not. Like, I will give you that. It didn't feel like the Chiefs had to work extra hard. I can tell you that. I think a fair thing to say would be this Lions defense did not play well. I think 2 things can be true. I think they did not play well, A, and B, you could just tell. You could tell they were missing DJ Reed. And I will even say this. I know people don't want to hear this. You could tell they were missing Terran Arnold. I'm sorry. I know people don't want to hear that. Amik Robertson did not look good. All right? He did not. And maybe even I was a little too ahead of myself saying that Amik was going to hold it down and be perfectly fine. No, he's not. Terran Arnold actually is your preference at outside corner. Okay? That's the reality. So they missed those guys. Kirby Joseph is clearly dealing with something. You could tell that run defense late in the game because it was clear the Chiefs were throwing the ball to open up the run. And they were able to do that late in the game when they were able to run the ball. But they're going to get arguably their best run defender back in Ali McNeil. Like, they're getting healthier. That's why I think this loss, I'm going to judge this team by what they do in January in the postseason. That's what I'm going to judge this team. That's what I want to see. I mean, this loss right now, really, I think people are overreacting a little bit with it. And I will say this too, man, because I know people, it's already coming because I see you. Shut up, Michael. Jeff, I just woke up to the refs throwing any additional flags against the Lions while I was asleep. And this isn't at you, Michael. I've heard this all last night, people complaining about the referees. And then you had Kirby Joseph tweeting about it, like, and which I think is a bad precedent to set. Like, the players shouldn't be talking about that shit. Number one, it doesn't matter. And number two, like, that's not your job. That's the media and the fans' job. So I think that's a little embarrassing for Kirby to be out on social media. And I love Kirby, but to be bitching about the referees, like, you don't see anyone else doing that. So, but here's the reality. Okay, guys, let's talk about penalties for a second. All right. We're gonna complain about penalties because that's routine. I mean, you lose against the Chiefs, and it has to be penalties, right? Like, there's no other way you can lose against the Kansas City Chiefs. It has to be penalties. Every team goes through this, and ironically enough, the New England Patriots went through this too, where they beat you, and it's because of the penalties. It's always because of the refs. It's not because we just didn't show up today. It's because of the referees. The Lions only had 4 penalties called on them for 48 yards. Like, they had 4 penalties. The refs actually let the teams play to some extent. They really did. 4 penalties on you. And I know you could say, well, the Chiefs had no penalties. Well, they had the Chris Jones penalty that was declined. So they would have had 1. So 1 to 4. Like, unless you can give me specific examples of the Chiefs just getting away with clear robbery, I didn't see that many things that I would say, well, the Chiefs miscall on the Chiefs. No, they played clean football. They played better. You know, they played significantly better than you. Let's break down the penalty, shall we? Let's break down the penalties. Aiden Hutchinson late hit on Mahomes, clear as day. That was the most clearest late hit I think I've ever seen. So we can't go there. Let's go pass interference. Or was it pass interference or holding? I forget, on Travis Kelce. Clear as day. We can't dispute that. If it was Sam Laporta, we'd be wanting to break shit around us by our television. So we can't act like that wasn't clear. So that's 2 of the 4. And I don't remember the other 2, but let's just say half of the penalties they had, just off the rip, clear as day. So I'm not really sure where this narrative is coming from with the referees. I'm not really sure, to be honest. It's not really making a lot of sense to me. How about you just play better defensively? How about you don't hit Mahomes full speed when the ball's out of his hand for 3 seconds? And here's the thing. And Michael says, I only have a problem with 1 penalty, the call from New York impacting a non-reviewable play. Yeah, like shit like that we can complain about. Like, I get like something you're like, oh, well, how can New York do shit like that? Okay. But I'm not speaking about that specific moment, Michael. I'm speaking to people that are using the referees as a reason why they lost, as if, I mean, you lost by 14 points. It's not like the touchdown that Jared Goff scored. Even if it counted, you would have lost. So it's like, what are we doing here? You know, like, people are acting like, oh, by the way, Dan Campbell did speak about that call specifically. So let's listen to it. And we'll break it down. But here's Dan Campbell on that call. Easy actually tweeted it out, but let's take a listen.
Did you get from the refs on the golf touchdown overturned, and did you agree with the explanation?
It doesn't matter if I agree or disagree. It was.
Did they explain it suitably?
Doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. So I know it came from New York, and they said he never stopped. He stayed in motion. He can't stay in motion. That was that. So that had no bearing on the game. I mean, you know, we lost by 13 points.
You go 15. Did you get from the refs on the golf?
Well said by Dan Campbell. That's a leader right there. Had no bearing on the game. All right. No bearing. It doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter what happened. It was sweet. So preferably, I would have preferred it counted. Jared Goff catching a passing touchdown would have been sick. We've already seen him do that once, but it didn't even matter. And let's see, Eric. Okay, I see this. Are you effing kidding me? They average 8 penalties a game. They had 13 last game. Okay, Eric, let's break this down for a second. So based on what you're saying, Eric, just making sure we're clear, whatever your average is a game, you must hit that average every game. Because that's not how it works. How many penalties do the Lions average? They had 4. All right. Is that about where the average is? Is this what we're doing? The Chiefs should have had 1. Like, Eric, and I get what you're trying to do. It's the easy way out, man, and I get it. It is the easy way out. Sometimes You got to just look at reality. You can't just blame or look at referee. That's not going to get you anywhere. The Lions played like dog shit. That is why they lost. They didn't lose because of the referees. They did not. They did not. And this is a bad mindset, I think, for fans. Vegas won, really? Vegas won. Let's see this, okay? And this is just. Let's see this. Let me check something real quick. Take me 5 seconds. All right. So, the Lions had 8 penalties against the Bengals. Was the game rigged? They only had 4 yesterday. They had half the penalties they played the Bengals. Then they played the Bengals. What's going on? I mean, it's like they got 4 penalties. People acted like the Lions had 14 penalties and the Chiefs had 0. They had 4. And 2 of them were legit. Very legit. The Chiefs had 1 with the Chris Jones offsides call that the Lions declined. If you're going to say the Chiefs deserved more penalties, tell me when. Tell me how. Give me specific examples. You can't just say the Chiefs deserve to have more penalties without pointing out what they committed that was a penalty. That to me, and it's not you, Eric, but I'm talking about just people in general, that's lazy. That's extremely lazy. To be like, well, they had 1 penalty on the game or 0, but 1 was declined. They should just have more. You got to give me an example. Where was the not called penalty? Give me it, please. And I'm sure there is one. I'm sure there is one at some point. I mean, refs are going to miss calls, but give me the example. We can't sit here and bitch and say, yeah, they just have to have more penalties. I didn't like how many penalties were called. It's like, okay, listen. You got outplayed. You got your ass beat by a better team who showed up today or yesterday. It's just the reality. I mean, if you want to blame the referees, go ahead. I don't know. And I know Pride of Detroit put out an article. Let's see it. I would love to read it. And I hope, and I know Pride of Detroit does a really good job. This can't possibly be something that people are writing about. It can't be. It can't be. Okay. Let's see. Never mind. Okay. Ryan Matthews on Pride of Detroit probably wrote an article on insinuating that Vegas won. I mean, this is the problem. This is the problem, guys. It's like we can't. We don't know. This is the problem. I'll explain it right now. All right. And I'll include myself. I'll include the media. We, fans and media, don't know how to fucking lose. We don't know how to lose. Because whatever's going on right now among fans and media is embarrassing. This shit is embarrassing. You have won 19 games over your last 23. I think they lost 2 last year, 1 in the playoffs, and then 2 this year. So what is that, 5 actually? Whatever. We don't know how to handle a loss. This is so embarrassing. And it shows by Brian Branch punching JuJu Smith-Schuster in the face. Like, we got to be able to look ourselves in the mirror and be like, you know what? We didn't show up today and we shit the bed. And we were outplayed, outcoached, they had more effort than we did. Out hustled. But instead, no. Instead, hold on. Stick with me. Instead, we lost because referees. What is going on? I mean, what? We got guys played sports. I mean, imagine you go in the locker room and you're looking at your coach and be like, "We lost because of the refs." Come on, man. I'm the first to admit when the refs are trash. I get it. That Dallas game last year, by the way, first one to be like, what in the hell? That was terrible. This one, nah, can't use it. It's embarrassing, actually, how everyone's handling it, this loss. It's so embarrassing. And then Kirby going on Twitter and tweeting, Brian punching JuJu. You had all these people bitching. It's like, guys, it's a loss. It happens, all right? It's a bad loss. It's really embarrassing. It just is. Like, from the players, from fans, from media. It's like, we haven't – what are we talking about here? It's like, you lost to the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, Michael. Hefe, I'm not saying what BB did was okay, but they were tormenting BB all day. Did you see the touchdown where Mahomes basically celebrating BB's face? Yeah, no, I did. And here's the thing, Michael. You know what? We can break bread here because do I agree with how JuJu was he was taunting him after the game? Do I agree with how Mahomes was talking to Brian Branch or trash talking? Listen, man, it's sports. I'm not saying it's something, I'm glad they did. No, it would piss anybody off. I get it. But here's the thing. You can't lose your cool like that. You just can't. You don't think any other Lions player was being shit talked? Like Branch was like, I feel like they was trying to bully me out there. Here's the thing, man. Like, you can't that if you react like he did by hitting JuJu, they win. They win. They finally got you. They pushed you to a point where you swing on JuJu. They win. So it's like that shit you have to just get over in sports, man. Like, and I know if you feel it coming, here's the thing. And here's the thing I want people to really understand here. All right. When you were watching after the game, when Mahomes went to shake Brian Branch and Brian Branch didn't shake his hand, he was walking directly to JuJu. He was walking up to him to confront him. It was clear as day. How about this, Brian Branch? How about you just walk to the locker room? Just get the fuck off the field. If you're at your breaking point or you're at a point where you're like, I'm going to snap, just walk away, bro. You doing that shit does absolutely nothing. It does absolutely nothing. It was clear he got his feelings hurt, and he let his emotions get the best of him. And if he does get suspended, he let down his team. That's exactly what happened. It took Dan Campbell apologizing. Like, after the game, like, I'm sorry to Andy Reid. That's embarrassing. And you got to think of it from Dan Campbell's perspective. I'm coaching one of the greatest coaches of all time. Like, this is a big moment for Dan Campbell, probably. Like, he gets to go to Arrowhead, coach against Andy Reid, and your fucking team does that in front of Andy Reid. How embarrassing is that? Like, holy shit, dude. How embarrassing is that? You're like, dude, why can't we just act like why can't we just be good sportsmen? Have good sportsmanship? You know? Why do we got to fuck this up and get into a fight after the game? And I got to apologize to Andy Reid. Like, what are we doing here? This is embarrassing. MTJ says, why was he walking to JuJu? Because JuJu had a dirty shot at him to end the game. But that doesn't give you the right to go punch him in the face. Like, you had 4 quarters to do that shit. You had 4 quarters to do that shit. And you wait till after the game to do it? If you guys are approving that, shame on you, man. Shame on you. You had 4 quarters to do that shit. And JuJu did that. You listen, whether you agree with it or not, if it was dirty or not dirty, it was pretty dirty what JuJu did. He did it between the lines. And you waited till after the game to go fight him. I'm like, how do you think that shit was going to go? How do you think that was going to go? After the game and go punch him in the face? Or whatever he did. People are like, well, he didn't punch him. The hand wasn't closed. It was open. Whatever the hell he did. All right? Hitting him in the face. You had 4 quarters to do that. And you got your ass kicked. And you decided to go, well, I'm going to kick his ass after the game when we've already lost. Like, that's the problem, man. That's the problem. Yeah, Michael, I always got mine during a play. Telling you. Patty, why stick up for KC, Jeff? Like, this is the problem. You can't tell the truth or you're sticking up for the opponent. So I have to be blind and say what is wrong is now right and go against what I believe because I'm a Lions or I cover the Lions? No. If I see bullshit, I call bullshit. That is my job. This is why I love talking to you guys. I tell it like it is. If it smells like bullshit, it's bullshit. I'm not going to sit here and defend Brian Branch. I mean, the amount of fans that were defending this man, get his ass. He's lucky he didn't mess up his face. You guys are embarrassing, actually. To be honest, you are the problem. Like, you are a problem. That shit's embarrassing. Like, for real. That's what we're going to do here? Like, encourage that bullshit behavior? Like, come on, man. Hell no. Like, I mean, if I don't care who it is. If the Chiefs did that, I'm chewing that dude out. But it's Brian Branch. Like, that shit should be unacceptable. It's embarrassing. That's unacceptable. It's not what the Lions preach. It's not what Dan Campbell preaches. That shit should not fly at all. And I love Brian Branch. I think he's the best safety on the team, to be honest with you. And I love Kirby, but I'm a big Brian Branch guy. That shit can't fly. You can't. You can't let your fanhood blind what your values are. If you're going to tell your kid that that's okay after a game, so be it. That's on you, bro. All right? Like, if you guys out there, I'm sure a lot of you guys have sons. Your son plays football. You're telling him what Brian Branch shit is acceptable. You're the problem with this, okay? You're telling that you guys should all fundamentally know that that's not okay, no matter if he's wearing a Lions jersey or not, to go punch someone after a game. Like, you have 4 quarters to do it. You do it in the game. So, I mean, we're not playing two-hand touch. We're playing tackle football. You can handle all that shit between the lines. Like, no one's telling their son to do that. You know what, Jimmy? You know what? He had an illegal shot on you to end the game. You had every right to go punch him in the face post-game. Okay, bro. None of you guys would tell your kids that. Like, come on, bro. And we're gonna tell Brian Branch that's okay. Just feeding them bullshit. That's what all it is. Streams only. I don't know if he's talking to me or not. Oh, shut up. That's all I hear. Oh my God, don't pay him. By the way, they should still pay him. I ain't playing like that. We paid Jameis, the most immature player ever, who got suspended twice. Gun fiasco. Dumb penalty. Okay, yeah. Here's the thing. I want to make very clear. I say all that to say this. You give him whatever you want. I think Brian's incredible. Doesn't mean what he did's bad and should not have happened. But I'm still paying him. Yeah, no way. I'm paying his ass. Yeah, no, I got you, Streams Only. I got you. Whoever says they shouldn't pay him, you're an idiot. Like that, they should pay him. They should pay him. Everything. Brian's a beast. That's why I'm so pissed, because they need him next week. He better not get suspended, because they need him against the Bucs. They need him, dude. They need him. He's one of their best players on defense. Besides Aiden, it's Brian Branch. So they need him. They need him. Michael, what if Dan lets him walk? Well, here's the thing, Michael, too. Like, Brad has some of the tougher decisions to make with all this stuff. He's got a lot of tough decisions to make with this stuff, man. Because you got Brian, you got to pay. Aiden's having a defensive player of the year type of year, which, by the way, I mean, I didn't really focus on too much of the positive. I feel like we should talk about the positive. Aiden Hutchinson's just getting sacks every game. I mean, is this what we're doing? He's had a sack in every game but game 1. He's on an incredible pace. He had a tackle for loss. You had, let's see, Derek Barnes also had a sack, by the way. Oh, no, he did not. Excuse me. That's it. No, sorry, AQM had a sack. I think it was. Yep. So, Aiden Hutchinson, thanks for the sack, dude. Strip sacks. Yeah, and here's the thing. I see the Kirby comment. Kirby is dealing with something. I don't know what they're going to do with Kirby. Seems like Kirby is playing with he's playing with some knee injury that is lingering, continuously lingering. I don't know what the problem is with that. I don't know what's going on. He got injured I don't know. And it looked like he couldn't walk. And then he came back into the game. So I don't know how they handle the Kirby stuff. I really don't. I wish I did. I don't know how they're going to handle it. I don't know if he'll play. I don't know if they'll maybe take a week off. They have the bye week. Here's the thing. You don't have Kirby Joseph potentially, Taron Arnold, DJ Reed, Khalil Dorsey's on IR. You had Arthur Millette playing snaps, and Arthur Millette just got here Wednesday. Arthur Millette literally walked in on Wednesday and was like, "Sup, can I get the playbook?" And played snaps on Sunday night against the Chiefs. Okay. Here's the problem with this comment. All right, guys, there's no way he's serious. There's no way you're serious, Donald. Donald says, "There's no way. Donald says, BB is the man. Fuck the Chiefs and the refs. What do you mean he should do it during the game and get penalized for it? Approach that bitch after the game and let him know what's cracking, a.k.a. his nose." All right, that sounded... Hey, listen, Donald, that's the most gangster shit I've ever heard. But here's the reality, though. You can't do that shit, Donald. Come on. Donald, you're not telling your son... Are you telling your son to do that? Donald, come on. Your son's playing ball. Some kid has a dirty block in the back on him. You're going to tell him, go crack that kid's nose after the game. What the fuck, Donald? Trippy. He is serious. Not everyone has your tail between the legs attitude. No, it's called being a good sportsman. It's having good sportsmanship and not being a dumbass. So if you want to say that, if you want to insinuate that I have a tail tucked between my legs attitude because I don't want to be a dumbass, then I'm sorry. I just prefer not to be, again, a dumbass and go up to a guy after a game and punch him. That is what that means. So if you want to call that tail because, by the way, you have 4 quarters to handle it. Now, can you go up to someone, have a conversation, and be like, "Yo, that was what the fuck are you doing?" Okay, whatever. You can go up, talk to him. To go basically sucker punch the dude. Yeah, if I have to sucker punch someone, then I'm okay. Yeah, I'll have a tail tucked between my legs attitude. Come on, guys. What are we doing here? It's this whole society that if you don't do shit like that, you're soft. You have to, in these moments, you have to be the bigger man. Do we believe Brian's soft? No, not at all. No one believes that. But in that situation, do you have to go punch someone in the face to prove you're not soft? No, you don't. You don't. Come on, Trippy. That is, there's no one in their right mind that should be thinking to themselves, I think it is insane to say what Brian did is acceptable, and that should be how it goes. That's ridiculous, man. That's ridiculous, and that's you know what that is? That's coming from a fan who's only thinking with emotions. You're thinking about, oh, it's like Brian Branch is your brother. Let's talk about it from a objective perspective. That was not okay. Whether he's wearing a Lions uniform, because I'll tell you this right now. If the roles were reversed, if the roles were completely reversed and JuJu sucker punched Brian, would you keep that same energy? You wouldn't. At all. At all. You guys would have never accepted that if JuJu sucker punched Brian. Oh, but it's okay. You gotta let that son of a bitch hear it. What? You guys would be all for JuJu punching Brian like that? Get the hell out of here. None of you guys would. Because it's not a Lions player. You see the problem here? We have to stop treating it because he's a Lion, everything's okay. No, that's unacceptable no matter what. You got to be consistent. You got to be consistent. I highly doubt people will be coming in here saying that's acceptable. I'm just saying. I don't get it. I don't get it, man. The bottom line is you got outplayed against the better team. And listen, Mahomes is starting to look like old Mahomes. I mean, he played extremely well. He had 3 touchdown passes. He scrambled for another one. You know, that defense for the Chiefs looked really good. They were able to run the ball a little bit. The defense just didn't play well for the Lions. That was a bad game defensively. And I'm saying the injuries aren't everything to blame, but they definitely played a part in it. You could tell for sure. Linebackers didn't play well. Linebackers didn't play well at all. Secondary, you could tell the injuries caught up to them. They were having guys out there playing snaps for the first time. I mean, Arthur Millette, Thomas Harper. Thomas Harper I actually do like. He's backup safety. They got to get him out there a little more, to be honest. But the secondary was clearly hurt. You know, I think this is something where we have a kind of extended week until the Bucs game. It's at home. Monday Night Football. Get everyone healthy and go out there, and you got to make a statement. You got to beat the Bucs. I don't care how it looks. I don't care if you win 3-0. I don't care if you win 3-0. You got to win. All right? And that's the reality of this game now. Because if you lose to the Bucs, it's a bad look. Again, it's not about the 4-3. It's about just the narrative of what the Lions are, and people are going to pull out the fraud card. That's just how it goes. So you have to beat the Bucs. You have to lock in. And this schedule does not get any easier. Let's look at the next 4 games. Let's look at this for a second. Let me see if I can bring it up. All right, next 4 games for the Lions. Let's check it out. We can just look at the schedule, to be honest with you. All right, here's the schedule. So lose to the Chiefs. They got Monday night against the Tampa Bay Bucks. It's actually a 7:00 game. Minnesota, which, to be honest with you guys, I'm not trying to disrespect Minnesota. I know they're divisional and everything. They should be able to beat the brakes off Minnesota right now. I mean, they should. Washington, Philly. I will say New York is playing better football. They ain't no gimme. And then Green Bay again. And then Dallas. Which Dallas, you know, whatever. But Green Bay again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Over the next 6 games, you probably have 2 games you will be favorited in. By a lot. Not by a lot, by more than 2.5 points. Like, maybe you'd be favorited at Washington, maybe. But I don't know. I don't know, man. These are tough games. These are tough games. And I'll be honest with you. Over the next 4 weeks, you got to go 3-1. But that's kind of the reality right now. 3-1 will put you at what, 7-2? 2-2 at the minimum. It's like maybe you go 6-3. But you can't, you got to beat. I mean, you can't lose to every contender, I'll tell you that. You can't lose to every contender. What kind of message does that send to your fan base? Not a good one. Not a good one. Zechariah. I don't understand why all Detroit media blames BB nonstop. No one's blaming BB, man. He made a clear mistake, and he deserves to get held accountable for it. He can't. And Dan Campbell, you don't believe me? Dan Campbell blamed him. Not blamed him, but called him out, as he should. Like, I'm not. No one should be. No one's constantly picking on Brian Branch, man. We got to start playing the victim card. He fucked up. He made a clear mistake that he shouldn't have made. No one's just unrightfully picking on him. Like, how about don't punch JuJu? Don't sucker punch JuJu after a game. How about that? And we'll start there. And then we won't have to talk about him. Like, no one enjoys talking about Brian Branch today in that matter. No one does. Let's see. Michael, all the people bitching about TA, I bet everyone misses him now. Actually, Michael, I'm glad you brought that up. Everyone was quick to say everyone was quick to say Terran Arnold, they're going to be better without him. Tell you what, I wish he was out there. And I know people hate it with the penalties and everything, but let's be real here. He's actually one of your best and most stickiest corners besides DJ Reed. Amik Robertson, I love him, but he's better as a CB2, number one. But Terran Arnold's not some trash corner. He's not. He just gets penalties in which he has to work on for sure. But it's not like he gets consistently lost in coverage or anything. But people forget, man.
Like I'm telling you, he's not as bad as a player as you think.
He's not. And I know people don't want to hear that, but that's the reality. That's the reality of it. Christian, can we all agree that we desperately need Decker back and 1,000% have to prioritize a tackle at the top of next draft? Well, Christian, I'm glad you brought that up because what you're saying is 1,000% true. I think Taylor Decker is super important to what this Lions team does. What they do in the run game and the pass game. Taylor Decker is extremely important. They definitely missed him on Sunday. I think for him, what the future looks like is complicated because he's dealt with a lot of injuries. But I will give credit where credit's due. Jared Goff was sacked once last night, I believe. Let me check. Yes, he was sacked once last night. And you know where that sack came from? Or at least a lot of where the pressure came from? The interior. Dan Skipper actually wasn't that bad. So he was actually fine. He was way better than Manu. So I don't think Decker's the reason they lost, but I will say that it's important to have Decker for sure. I will say. And I do agree, Christian, that they should prioritize a tackle. They have to. I would say a right tackle, because then Panay can play left tackle. That's just me. You kind of already have your you already kind of have your left tackle in Panay. Eric Taylor says, St. Brown dropping the ball for the first down changed the whole game. He makes that catch. We go up big. Actually, that's a moment not really people are talking about. I agree. That dropped pass was big. This is fourth down. You know, if you get that, you're moving down the field, you're in a different position, maybe potentially score there. You know, it's part of it. It's part of it. Christian says, Skip did okay, but I'm looking towards a sustained future. Agree. Glasgow and Decker are aging, and we need to be prepared for the retirements. Yeah, and I think, honestly, I don't think Decker has that much longer, if I'm being honest. I don't think it would have been that much. Oh, here we go. Mr. Blunt, if TA was in the game, there'd be 2 extra penalties, and the fans would be blaming the refs. That's actually a good point. That's actually funny, and you're probably right. But I don't know. I think this is where people get a little misconstrued about the TA narrative. People are going to look at TA and say that he gives up the most yards, but we have to factor in this too, right? You're giving up a lot of yards because of penalties, which is not good, obviously. But when we go back to the Bengals game, before he was injured, he actually had a really good game in coverage in that game. And I'm telling you, he's a better option than Rock Ya-Sin. Like, Rock Ya-Sin is not it. I'm talking about for the entire season. Maybe in spots, you know. But he's not a starting corner. He's just not. And here's the thing. People are going to ask me, should Brad Holmes make a trade? My answer to that question is no. Or do I think he'll make a trade? Because I would. You guys know how I operate. I would. Do I think he will? No, I don't. And here's the reason why I don't think he will. I think Brad is looking at this situation and thinking, okay, I don't have anyone lost for the entire year. I have DJ Reed coming back in a couple of weeks. I have Taron Arnold coming back soon. Those are my starting corners. And Kirby seems to be, it doesn't look like a long-term injury. Brian Branch is so far, he had an MRI, but he seems to be fine. I think we'll get healthy. I think we'll be all right. We're going to get our guys back. That's what I think he's thinking. Why would I give up assets if guys are coming back? Where's this player going to contribute? You know? I think if DJ Reed or TA were lost for the year, I think you could maybe argue he will make a trade. Or you think he will. Even though I think Amik would just slide to that corner role, and then they would just probably roll with Amik and DJ Reed if he was still here, and Terry and Arnold just got hurt, whatever. But yeah, I don't think Brad will make a trade because none of the injuries are season ending. Like Davenport's coming back. You know what I'm saying? Like these guys are all coming back, and I know however you feel about Davenport, I think that's how Brad's looking at it, honestly. And Brad always says you don't know enough about a player until his third year. TA's in his second. So you think Brad's not looking at that like, we'll be fine. Give him one more year. We'll know what we have. Dude, he's not going to give up on TA. He's not. Not yet. That's his draft pick. That's his draft pick. Yusuf. Shout out Yusuf, by the way, man. Appreciate you joining, bro. He says, okay, sure, we will get guys back, but he has to take in consideration for more injuries. I agree. He says, am I crazy for thinking this? No, you're not crazy. And I think for the most part, they actually have pretty good depth. I think on the interior D-line, they have depth. At edge, not that much depth. At linebacker, they have depth. At corner and safety, maybe they don't have the most depth, but they're going to get guys back. That's why they brought in Trey Flowers and Whiteside. And maybe they're not the options you guys want. I get it. Like everyone wants like Stephon Gilmore. Stephon Gilmore, he ain't. There's a reason why he's a free agent. Okay, he's not. He ain't Stephon Gilmore Defense Player of the Year. Corey, appreciate you joining. He says, I'll be here. I'll be real here. John Morton has to be better with play calling, and the offense has to be better overall. We have scored big against bad defenses and struggled in both games. We played a good one. Ooh, okay. It's a good comment. Appreciate the comment there, Corey. I will say that I don't think what you're saying is completely off. I think it actually is very fair. I think you can look at 2 games against contenders, and not only contenders, but good defensive coordinators. Steve Spagnuolo is the best DC in the game, and it was clear that I can't blame John Morton for not out-coaching him, especially in his first game as an OC against Spagnuolo. He's the greatest defensive coordinator for a reason. He's got to learn from it. And some of the play calls were not good, Corey. They weren't. The halfback, they had kind of a swing pass to Jameer that was no gain, and then after they ran a screen pass to JMO. What the fuck are we doing, man? Those back-to-back plays are terrible. And then I will say another game where they didn't play well was against Jeff Hafley, the defensive coordinator for the Packers. And I will say, man, he's one of the best too. So to your point, the two very good DCs they faced on contenders, they didn't do well. But here's the thing. He faced Dennis Allen in Chicago and put up 50 on him. But that wasn't a great defense. So I'll give you that. The Bears defense is, it's all right. And they had injuries in that game. But I get what you're saying. You know, he outcoached Dennis Allen, but if we're talking about talented defenses, yeah, Lions offense, they haven't scored 20. But they're going to play Vic Fangio, like Shift God just said. They're going to play Dan Quinn. He'll get tested more. And then they have Todd Bowles next week. So we'll see that. That whole shit will get ironed out very quickly. We'll see him face some pretty good defensive minds over the next couple of weeks. But I do agree on some of the play calling. I thought some of the play calling was, but again, I do want to make this very clear because I especially coming from me, because I know people out there are going to say, oh, here goes Jeff bitching about John Morton again. I said on the broadcast last night, we can point out bad play calls or react to things. That's fine. There's no problem with that. We can't say, this guy's trash all of a sudden. We can't say John Morton's just a bad play caller because we've seen, the offense has been very, very good. No one said anything about him the last couple of weeks. So we got to make sure we make both things clear. There's play calls in that game last night that I absolutely hated, but John Morton's still fine. He's cool. I will say this. Eagles fans should be doing it with their offensive coordinator. That offensive coordinator, by the way, he's an Italian. Shout out. I can't defend him. He sucks. So, yeah, that's actually fair that they should want his job, the Eagles OC. I mean, Saquon is on pace for like 800 yards. Jalen Hurts is throwing the ball 40 times a game. What are we doing here? But yeah, I think John Morton, he's fine. His job's fine. Calvin Shepard, same thing. They just got outcoached. And keys to wisdom. There are moments I do wish they had back, like this one. Morton just needed to hand the ball off to Monty, 4th and 1, and not try that golf pass play, the screen call on. Well, I don't know about that. I mean, we say that now because it didn't work, but I get what you're trying to say. The screen call on 4th and long was a bad one too. I agree with that. Besides that, he did pretty good. Yeah, I mean, we can say that. And here's the thing for people that don't understand what that meant. So essentially, since Jared Goff was close enough under center, they declared him as a quarterback, which then when he goes in motion, he has to reset and stop before the ball snapped. And why the referees reversed it is because he was still moving. He was still kind of running to the outside, and then they snapped the ball. Jared was still in motion. So because he was ruled as a quarterback, I think if he would have been in shotgun, it would have been better. Because then he could, he's close enough to the center. He's a quarterback. He had to stop. He didn't. The play, it was an illegal formation. So that's why the play was reversed for people that didn't understand. If he was in shotgun and they did that same thing, it probably would have been better. But it's just what it is. Great play call, but they got to iron that shit out beforehand. Like you got for a play. If you're doing trick plays like that, you got to make sure the details are dotted and crossed, because that is a legit rule. I mean, you can't just act like that. We can't say, "Oh, the referees did that for the Lions." No, that's a legit rule. You can't do that. I know Jared Goff after the game was like, "Oh, I didn't know." We just found out about it, which I get. Like it's one of those really nuanced, crazy rule, but it is a rule. I mean, that's on John Morton's job to know that rule when they're making a play like that. Corey says, I think Morton is good. Don't get me wrong. I just feel like he could have done better or could be better. Tesla needs to be more involved. I agree that Tesla needs to be more involved, but they got so many mouths to feed, Corey. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about his job. Think about John Morton's job. How many mouths he has to feed. Sam Laporta's been playing well. J-Mo led your team in receiving and catching. I think he was tied for catching. Let me see. No, he was second on your team in catches yesterday. Like, okay, we got to get Tesla more involved. I agree, but it's like, what does that even look like? I mean, you got to get Sam Laporta his 5 catches. You got to get Amon-Ra his 6, 7, 8 catches. You got to get J-Mo his 3, 4 catches. You got to get Jameer a couple catches. You got to get David a couple catches. At the end of the day, it leaves a couple catches barely for Tesla. And so he should maybe get a target or 2 a game. I agree with you, but it ain't going to be that much, man. They got so many mouths they got to feed. They do. That's why John Morton does have a very tough job when it comes to feeding all of those players. Michael, this is a great point, by the way. Cody says something similar, so I'm going to kind of go off both of your guys' comments. Michael, what's the deal with us starting Monty last season, but now it looks like we were just putting him in to get snaps? And Cody says, I'm sick of this one running back per drive. If it's a hard run, put Monty in. Outside, go Gibbs. You know what? I get why people would be frustrated. I'll say this. The running back per drive thing, I actually don't mind, because I think both backs can do similar things. They're both great pass catchers. I think Jameer can go between the tackles just as much as David can. He's better, and Jameer's better outside, but Monty's run outside before and gotten yards. So I think I don't mind the running back per drive thing. I think what I actually do mind is what Michael's saying, and that's giving Monty more snaps. I think Monty played like 30-something% of the snaps. I think Jameer played 60-something. So And to Alex's point, it does keep them more fresh. You know, you get a whole drive off. But let me see. Brian Branch calls post-game scuffle childish. All right, well, there you go. Look at Brian Branch called it himself childish. There you go. I just got a notification. I think that was last night, actually. I just didn't hear him say that. But yeah, and there was this report too, by the way, earlier. Let me see. Here's a tweet too from Adam Schefter. I don't know if you guys saw this morning. The skirmish between Lions safety Brian Branch and Chiefs wide receiver JuJu Smith-Schuster after last night's game will be reviewed, and in the words of an NFL official, determinations on discipline made from there. So we'll see. You guys will probably get news on that maybe a little after the show at some point today. So you'll get more information on that. By the way, to what Cody's saying, well, Monty Wildcat's good, but what I thought Cody said, and hear me out on this, Cody. Why aren't we having two backs on the field at once? I mean, what are we doing? Why don't we have two backs on the field at once? I thought that was what we were sold on. All right, Phoenix. We got to chill. And he does not need to be out of the league. All right, you're a hidden Chiefs fan if you think that. You're trolling. There's no way. I mean, what are you talking about? Michael says it would be deadly. They got to put two backs on the field. We got to find a way to make that work. Because that was advertised in the preseason, not preseason. Excuse me. What I meant was training camp, like before the season, not preseason. But they had a lot of times where Monty and Jameer were both in the backfield, or Jameer was in the slot, and they had Monty in the backfield. Can we do that more? I mean, that was advertised, and they don't even do it, which I don't really understand. And I know Cody said Dan said two backs is gimmicky, but in certain situations, you know how deadly that can be. Like Jameer as basically a wide receiver, you can have Amon-Ra, Jameer, and J-Mo, and Sam as pass catchers, and Monty in the backfield. That's nasty. Look at all the speed. I like it. But yeah, but people, or you want to have two in the back and behind you, next to Jared Goff, they can run them left and right. You can get creative with it, but they haven't really done it. It is what it is. But yeah, listen, we'll be live tonight as well. I'll be live with Boone tonight to break it all down. There'll be so much more information that comes out until then. So please come hang with us, come chill. Chop it up with us. You got comments, you got concerns, you got thoughts, you come share them with us, and we'll break it down with you, man. It'll be a good conversation. 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. tonight. Watch Monday Night Football. Watch Crunch Time Sports. Even the people that I went back and forth with today, much love. Appreciate you for joining in. This is what this country's about, having conversations, even though we disagree. I will catch you guys tonight at 8 p.m. Until then, you guys have a good rest of your day. Go Lions. Time to get the Bucs. Let's go. Peace.